Fog Racing back again here, and today we're going to be ranking all 10 Formula 1 teams from worst to best in terms of performance for the 2024 season. Of course, testing has wrapped up, the season is upon us. Of course, practice starts on Thursday, so I'm really looking forward to that. I say I'm really looking forward. It's F1. I do love F1. It's got a special place in the heart, but when you're going into a season, and fair play to Alonso saying that Max Verstappen has won the title and 19 drivers know they can't, it doesn't look good. There's estimated gaps that Red Bull could be like a second ahead, and if Red Bull are like a second ahead, you're actually looking at a gap that's probably like 3 to 4 tenths bigger than what the gap they had last year in terms of race pace. So to me that's quite incredible, but let's start in 10th place anyway. And I'm going to base this off my own knowledge and also what other people have said. I'm actually going to put Alpine. Now, if you haven't paid attention to testing, you're probably like, what? Alpine, solid midfield car, a couple of podiums last season, how the hell are they slower than the likes of Haas? Well, that's what the rumours are. Apparently they've sent out engineers to sort out the problems, so I'm going to stick Alpine in 10th, sorry. Talking in 9th. I'm going to put Haas. Haas are weird. It looks like they might have fixed their tyre wear problems, just like most of the Ferrari-powered cars, but I think that Haas are always, if they don't start strong, they're not going to end good, put it that way. So I think Haas will be 9th, and I think by the end of the season they'll be a distant 10th. 8th place, we've got Alfa Romeo, Sauber, Kick, Stake F1 team, whatever you want to call it. The green and black, so to speak. 8th, they'll get the odd couple of points finishes, but they've got a boring driver lineup. Team's just pretty boring, man. The colour seems good, but apart from that, they're a wee bit boring. 7th place, I'm actually going to put Williams. Again, I guess this isn't a constructor's thing, but it's a one-man band doing it, Williams. Maybe Logan Sargent can actually up his game this season, but I wouldn't hold out on it. So it's going to be up to Alex Albon, but the car looks decent enough, but I think it just looks a few steps behind these two next ones, because in 6th place we've got FISA Cash App. Of course, Yuki Tsunoda, Daniel Ricciardo will be looking forward to laying the Smackaduna in this car, but I'd say it looks sick, and I'd say it's took a massive step forward compared to where it was at the start of last season. I think towards the end of last season, honestly, the car didn't even look too far off the likes of Aston Martin, and you look at the last few races, you could argue it was quicker than Aston Martin, and competing with the likes of Mercedes. Look at Abu Dhabi, like Tsunoda was up there, Daniel Ricciardo in Mexico, so there's good promising future for the FISA Cash App team, apart from its name, obviously. To 5th place, I would love to say Aston Martin are a lot higher than this, but here, maybe they're still close to the top guys. Alonso said the cars took a big step forward, but then they say that and then they're like, oh, but every car on the grids took a massive step forward, so I'm not too sure what that really means. You've also got the fact that Lance Stroll's pitch, which doesn't really have anything to do with the speed of the car, but Aston Martin are not going to be starting this season where they did last season. I think Alonso will still get a few podiums this season, but he's not going to get like the 9 he got last season. Absolutely not. 4th place, I'm going to put McLaren. They're a bit of an unknown. They've had a pretty poor test, but McLaren last few years, they start slow and they end pretty good. And I think what could be good for McLaren fans' point of view is if you're going to start in the mix with like Ferrari and Mercedes rather than a back marker and mix it with them by the end, then maybe by the end of this season, if McLaren take similar steps that they've done previous seasons, they could be right on Red Bull's, mud flaps, which that's a bit weird. But the problem is, man, we were all going into this season expecting McLaren. I expect them to be second fastest and pretty close to Red Bull, but that's not going to happen. Third fastest, I'm going to go Mercedes. Looks a lot more of a drivable car, but still looks slow. Like, it looks easy enough to drive, but that doesn't automatically mean raw speed. We've seen cars in the past that are absolute, like if you unlock it, you unlock it. And this Mercedes looks good, but not great. And a car I would describe as great is almost the Ferrari. The Ferrari's almost great. Looks clear, second fastest. I'm not saying there's going to be a second between Red Bull and a second between Ferrari and Mercedes, but Ferrari look like they've sorted their race pace and looks like they're going to be laying the smackdown. And then that leaves us with one team at top, guys, Red Bull. Honestly, I hope they haven't gained in quality trim, because at least some races this season Friday, but if they're second faster in the races, man, you need Perez to step up, but he won't. And I'm not going to... I mean, if Perez wins the first two races and they pretend there's a title fight on, there's not. People need to accept their L's.